So I just did the Fisker Ocean One test drive a couple weeks ago, and I'm finally getting around to doing the review. I promised I would a day or two ago. Anyway, what I would call the keeper or sleeper list in evaluating this vehicle. And so I'm going to start with the pros, the keepers. And so top of the keeper list for the Fisker Ocean is looks. I mean, there is nothing on the road that looks like this. Some say perhaps it shares some DNA with a Land Rover Evoque, but I can see where they're getting that from, but I kind of beg to differ. It definitely looks more masculine and aggressive. You can tell it's an electric vehicle, but one that's completely designed from the ground up. And it's not bubbly with baby fat, and it doesn't look like its underside is bloated. Next up, I would say range. I continue to be a little bit surprised that Fisker doesn't advertise the range of this vehicle more aggressively. In fact, I think it has the best range of just about any reasonable electric vehicle you can purchase for under $100,000. And it's got better range than most of the electric vehicle sedans out there. I mean, it beats a Model 3 hands down in terms of range, and yet you get plenty more utility. Also, this is an electric vehicle that actually has a sunroof, and not just any sunroof, it's a massive sunroof. It's also a sunroof that doubles as a solar panel. So when this thing is just sitting idly in a parking lot or a driveway, it's actually trickle charging. That's got some level of peace of mind to it, not only from a green environmental standpoint, but just in terms of range anxiety, that you could be at work and knowing that your car is trickle charging from the sun without it needing to be, plugged in somewhere. You don't have to fight someone at a charging stall. That's really cool. We'll have to see what that looks like, because we don't really know anything in terms of that trickle rate yet, but that's supposedly coming in a soon-to-be software update. I'd also mention on the keeper list color options. This car has so many color options, from beautiful blues and grays to a couple of mattes. All of the finishes really good looking, very thoughtful, and you already are distinct on the road driving a Fisker Ocean, but with the color palette to choose from, there's even more variety and originality to owning this vehicle. And then I'll go back to that sunroof for the final, keeper feature, and that is solar. Yes, there's Aptera coming, but it still hasn't produced a vehicle for sale yet. And I think this is the only car out there currently that has a functional solar panel that goes towards the overall charge of the vehicle, not just powering a couple of items like I think Prius used to with a solar panel option. It only charged a couple things like the radio or the AC. This is the overall charge, so there's a lot of peace of mind to that. So, 5 features that I would put on the keeper list: the looks, the range, the sunroof, the color options, and the solar. All really making this a compelling vehicle and one worth considering. And now for the sleeper score. I'm going to start with one of my biggest nitpicks, and that is the floor mats of the Fisker Ocean One. The fact that, one, we have to pay for them at all as an option is insane to me on a $65,000 plus car. 2, the price of said floor mats is ridiculous for what they are. And 3, the floor mats don't even fit the floor of the vehicle. They look like they're too small. They look aftermarket and not custom made to cover the the floor of the wheel well. It's just insane to me. Second, I know we have heard about this since the Fisker Ocean's inception. There is no frunk. That's a cost-saving item. But I think that in this day and age, people expect that if they're going to buy an EV and the inconvenience that comes with that they're going to gain convenience in terms of storage. So I would say that it's a miss that there's no frunk when the trunk is smaller than its biggest competitor, which is the Tesla Model Y. And in no ranking order here on the sleeper score, I would say those door handles. It really surprises me that they went with plastic door handles on a vehicle that costs over $60,000 in most trims. They look a little bit large, they look a little bit cheap, they feel a little bit cheap. I don't know why they couldn't have gone with a recycled aluminum, if they wanted to keep with the environmental aesthetic, but the plastic handles need to go in future models. And of course, we've heard about it from everyone else, but again, on the sleeper list, is not all the software features are currently available. And the ones that are there, not all of them, but some of them are a little bit sluggish, which I would throw in there, when we change from, portrait mode to Hollywood mode. That is a change in some of the earlier software versions to include the vehicle I test drove a couple weeks ago. That took close to 30 seconds for all of that to snap into place and run at speed. And finally, on the sleeper score list, I would say, charging basically twice what competitors do for available options. Everything from paint colors to wheels. That is kind of obnoxious when you're trying to be an upstart and be competitive. So all that being said, I think that, the keeper and sleeper scores even out, and I think that brings me to my final verdict for the vehicle. All right, verdict time. Let me just say that I really like this vehicle, but I'm going to keep sleeping on it just a bit longer until spring, summer roll around. I think we'll find that by then that this is a vastly improved vehicle in terms of software updates, customer experience, even sales channel options, with more and more traditional car dealerships coming online. I think one of the things that they're going to need to do, starting this year, is that they're going to have to figure out how to lower the price of their options. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to lower the price of the vehicle dramatically, because I do think that you're getting a quality vehicle, although I do believe that the vehicle is overpriced for what it is. I think that this is a $60,000 vehicle in $65,000 to $69,000 vehicle upcharge. Just things like the decisions on the floor mats and door handles are evident, and they stick out. The paint colors too. I mean, they're charging so much for that, and you go on like the Audi e-tron website and you can get any color you want on that thing for less than $600. I think they need to have their paint color options. And that would help a great deal in terms of the bottom line pricing once you add up all the options. Most people are probably not going to go for just a white paint job because that's the only free one. They need to do all of this before the new the Model Y Highlander comes out in 2025. I think they've got to get the software right. They've got to get the vehicle price down. They've got to get the option prices down. They've got to get the dealer network really well established, because it's going to be starting probably this summer that we're going to see the first, vehicles coming in for their, service option. So is that going to be somebody coming out to the house? Is that going to be going to a Fisker Experience Center? Is that going to be leveraging a dealership, or is that going to be going to, one of these tire places they were talking about in the beginning of the launch of the Fisker Ocean? I kind of want to see what that looks like. But they've got to get the price down, and they got to work the kinks out in order to undercut their competitors' business, namely the Model Y and the looming Highlander. I think there's going to be pent up Tesla Model Y interest, as people are aware that there's going to be a similar update to it, to the Model 3, and folks want to see what that version looks like before they make a final decision on what they buy. Again, this should be a $60,000 vehicle, fully loaded. And with the likes of the Scout vehicle coming in 2026 from Volkswagen, the Rivian R2 debuting in just a matter of weeks, I think there's a lot out there that is going to make things more difficult for Fisker if they don't tighten things up a bit. They're on the right path. I want to stress that. I see that. And this was a great vehicle to test drive. I don't know what it would be like to own for a long period of time, but I am very optimistic about the software updates. I'd rather have a vehicle that requires, software updates to fix the majority of its issues, as opposed to fit and finish issues like you've seen on so many Tesla vehicles since the company's inception. Those are really hard to fix. They're also really expensive. They're also really inconvenient. I think as we get going, I think that we're gonna see the Fisker Ocean with the Malibu, I think, trim option that's rumored to be coming online. That's gonna, I think, provide a few more upscale interior features, maybe one or two additional paint options. I think the wood paneling, so that it looks a little bit more like the Fisker Alaska debut vehicle look like. That's going to be nice. Like to see those metal door handles. Those are touched every time you get in or out of the vehicle, so we'll see how the plastic ones last. I think, don't get me wrong, I love the vehicle. I know that Fisker will be successful. I'm confident in that. I think that the sales numbers will prove that it's doing better than Lucid. It's certainly doing better than Canoe. And as more and more customers experience the vehicle, I think they're going to find that it is definitely a great alternative to a Tesla, and certainly offers much better range than anything out there. And a lot more originality to the design, from its looks to its features. But it's fun to drive and looks great outside and in, but the interior execution, including the software, is more Toyota than Tesla. And I'd buy it, but probably not before 2025. In fact, I'm leaning heavily towards buying it, but I kind of want to see what this year brings, and I'm very optimistic what that's going to look like. But I need to see a lot of the software stuff worked out, and I'd like to see the price come down just a dash. So that's my verdict. That's my review. It's a break even on the keeper or sleeper at this moment, but I think that's going to change in just a matter of months. So go out there, test drive it, let me know what you think, and subscribe, and hope to see you soon.